All right, I'm going to explain the second part of your last assignment for this week. This could maybe be one of the more difficult ones just because it's not only asking you to just do the math and get an answer. It's asking you deeper things like why and show me how. And we don't really spend a lot of time in the primary grades understanding what it means to divide with fractions. We do a lot of that with whole numbers, but when it comes to fractions, I found that we just teach you guys how to do it. And no, don't worry about why, just do it and know how to get the right answer. So this could prove to be a little bit tricky, but it'll be good that we're taking the time to do it. So I'm going to do number one with you. It says complete the bar model to show how many fifths make 14/10. So I'm going to think aloud here. When I first see this problem, the first thing I see is that this 14/10 is an improper fraction. And I want to change it into a mixed number. I want to know what is that equal to. So remember, to change into a mixed number, you would divide. 10 goes into 14 one time. So that's one whole. And how many pieces do you have left over? You have 4, and you're still dealing with the same size pieces. They are still tenths. Now, furthermore, 4/10 can be reduced by dividing by their greatest common factor, which is 2. So 1 and 4/10 is equivalent to, it's the same thing as 1 and 2/5. There's my fifths. That's what I was after, because we're trying to figure out how many fifths make up this whole 14/10. And I know that 1 and 2/5 make up 14/10. Now, don't forget, the whole number 1 in this case is 5/5. Okay? So we have 5/5 and 2/5, which together would equal 7/5. So I know that there needs to be 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here's 1/5, 2, 3/5, 4, 5/5. That's one whole. 1 and 1/5 or 6/5. 1 and 2/5 or 7/5. So that's what I've got there. And it says, well, how many make up 14/10? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them do. 7/5 make up 14/10. Now down here, this is what I think you may get caught up on. Try not to. This is where it's asking you to use your model to answer some questions. So let's understand the questions before we get caught up on an answer. This first one is 14/10 divided by what gives you 7? Well, right up here, my answer was 7. What was I answering? It was asking me how many fifths go into 14/10. So I know that 14/10 divided by the fraction 1/5 is going to give me 7, because there are 7 of them that make it up. So I no math. I just got it done just like that. And then conversely, on the opposite side, because we know that division and multiplication are inverse operations, okay? What times 1/5 equals 14/10? Well, 1/5 7 times gave us 14/10. So there we go. Down here, I'm going to show you, because you're probably already looking at number 2. Mrs. Sherwin, that's not a bar graph. What do I do? What do I do? It's a number line, and it goes from 0 to 2/3. And it says use the number line to show 2/3 divided by 1/12. So just like 14/10 was divided by 1/5, you're going to see, well, how many times does 1/12 go into 2/3? I would solve this division by flipping the second fraction and multiplying to figure out what the answer is before you try to split it up. If you need more help, check out those Khan